You know, when you meet someone and you very quickly realize you pretty much share a brain, you're always on the same page and essentially speak the same language, maybe just in a different font?
I'm Stephanie, and that was Holly, and we are those girlies. After sharing an experience in corporate America, and maybe some trauma bonding along the way, we really just want to yammer about the stuff that matters to us. Join us as we discuss navigating self love and growth, marriage, sobriety, and the hamster wheels that are our brains. And welcome to Same Language, Different Font. Let's just get the party started. Oh, I miss this feeling. Hi, guys. Yeah, I'm so happy to be back in front of the mic. Oh my gosh.
You guys have no idea how long it's been. We started recording these before the holidays, trying to let's see if we can chipmunk some of these episodes in case life be lifing and we can't record quite as much. And then not having released them except for every other week, we got way ahead and we've waited like probably a month and a half since the last time we recorded, I feel like.
Yeah,
Because we were just waiting for our episodes to catch up.
I feel like the first couple of episodes, we just cranked them out, took a little bit of a break, got the socials going. Instagram is popping.
Yeah, it is. And we're on Facebook now, too.
Yes.
Look at us. For all of our followers. My brother, who doesn't have Instagram. That was for you. All of the other listeners, too, but primarily it was for my brother so that he could see all the posts.
No, that's awesome. I love it. And slowly but surely, just building our little community, the community that we kind of set eyes on when we first came up with this idea. That was the whole premise behind it, was we felt really good going through the journey that we were on and trying different things and creating new habits. And then we decided that we wanted to put it out there into the world, and our community is growing and it's so exciting. It makes
really
me so happy.
These conversations too, y'all, like, let me tell you what, some of these conversations with people that we don't necessarily know, like they might be somebody that Steph knows that I've never interacted with, or vice versa, or just the people within our community that we're having these conversations with from them listening to these episodes has been incredible. Let me tell you what. And it's just, these are the conversations we wanted to start, and these are the conversations we think would be productive to have in the world and have everybody talking about, and just kind of just helping flip that mindset. I think that there's a lot of negativity out there that just kind of comes naturally to us at this point. And so being able to kind of start switching gears and thinking about things a little bit differently and being more intentional with our thought processes, it's great to see. But
oh, absolutely. And it's something that we can hold on to for the days where we ourselves are not feeling
guilty.
Just not feeling it 100%. It's when you do get that message from somebody that you have not spoken to in quite some time. We've got some feedback from a few followers that it was very surprising to see interactions from them in the best way possible, like the best way possible. And if anything, it just serves as motivation to keep going, especially when you do. I've just been reading a lot about when you do start a new endeavor or start something new, how in the beginning it's new and shiny. Of course it is. Anything in life is like that. It's new, shiny. I love it. I'm excited. As time kind of goes by and growth is slow, it's slow going, and it doesn't happen overnight the way that everything else in our life does, and almost instantaneously these days. It just really is that extra little nugget of motivation to fall back on, to go back and reread or see a new person pop up. It's so exciting. So love that.
Absolutely. And I do want to point out, like, not every day is all bright, shiny optimism, rainbows. For Steph and I, we do also have our days of kind of being and just getting by. And I don't want to say falling victim to like going back into the societal standards or just kind of going on that autopilot, but it happens. We're human. It's not always going to be us always running around and ready to flip the mindset. We are taking it day by day, just the same as you guys are. So please understand that we don't have I don't want you to have that false mindset of we've mastered this, because I can assure you there have been many conversations that happen in the background where we have talked about are we the best people to be doing this? Because I've been really grumpy recently. And so just trying to be the best for ourselves, our people, you guys. Bear with us because, again, we're human and we're going to have those days. And
without question.
This episode in particular, I'm going to try to be as honest as I can. I need you all to know that this is not a fun episode for me. This is a very real episode. It's going to be a challenge to be honest about it. I'm hoping to make it as fun for you guys to listen to as I can, but it's a lot of things like I'm not proud of a lot of these things, but I'm here. I'm no longer at day one, and so I'm going to be honest about it because I'm just hoping somebody out there who maybe is thinking, maybe I should start to look into this, can learn from my experience. So that's going to be my goal with this one. But I just need you all to know it's not necessarily easy to talk about some of these things. And I'll just jump in and say that this is Steph's been excited about it too. She's been ready to go. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be tough. But we are talking about the Adult Bev today and our sobriety journey. And I don't even know what day I'm on. I think I'm at like 270 actually. Like I was thinking like we're getting up there. We're almost to a year, which is incredible to think. The fact that I don't know what day we're on, because I remember we were checking very regularly when we started this to see like, oh my gosh, what day are we at? What day are we at? And I haven't looked in quite a while. It's just kind of been the norm at this point. There are still struggles for sure, but I'm going to let you take over now, Steph.
It's really interesting to me because I've been thinking about it a lot in preparation for this episode, is that everything that we've talked about up to this point, goal setting, habit tracking, being grateful and showing gratitude and intentional with things, non-negotiables, all of the things that we've talked about so far are all things that you and I have ebbed and flowed on since we started the pod. Before we started the pod, it's a natural part of life to go through the highs and the lows of those things and have moments of real victories and then have moments where you're just kind of questioning everything. This is the one thing we have not faltered on, and we've talked about it, and we've talked about temptation, and we've talked about that the off switch that comes with it. But neither of us, it gives me goosebumps. It gives me full body chills because it's the one thing that you and I have locked in on, and nothing. And we have both dealt with some stuff that may have been a reason to relapse. I'm sorry, I'm going to use the big words. I mean, surrounding this conversation, we haven't. And we've stayed true to it. And there's a reason for that. There's so many reasons for that. Holly's absolutely right. This is the episode of this season that I was most excited about because in my heart, I do not feel like I would have completed anything else that I've done to this point had alcohol stayed in my life in the capacity that it was, period. I do not feel like this growth could have happened in the way that it did, physically, mentally, spiritually, any of it, if I was still drinking the way that I was.
Boozing.
And boozing. I mean, finding any reason that I could possibly find to booze, you know.
We came up with some good ones too. We
are the ultimate justifiers. The ultimate. And the thing is there is alcoholism is such a hard thing. It is so, when you hear the word alcoholic or you hear the word alcoholism, in my mind, at least for me, I'm thinking somebody falling down, doesn't remember stuff the next day,
wakes up at 8 a.m., grabs the bottle,
starts drinking. Exactly. And
it's an extreme.
That in my mind, it really, really was, until I really looked internally, and by the medical definition, I was and am an alcoholic, period. There's no way around it. If I am drinking every single day, if I am drinking in an excess where I am getting sick, I'm an alcoholic. There's no way to spin it and make myself not be that. But one thing that I have learned is that that does not have to be my identity. And
Right.
in no way, shape, or form is it. Especially now, just like you said, Holly and I still have a tracker, and I still have my tracker. It's on my home screen on my phone, just as like that object permeates. Like, you need
There
to
it
see
is.
it, girl, to know like you're crushing it.
Hey, this is
But
still happening.
it is still there, and all it takes is, for me, one. I know that.
Yep.
I haven't even experienced it yet, and I know that all it's
Yep.
going to take is one. And I've had we've talked about it. I've had dreams about it where I drink in my dream and I wake up and I am so mad at myself, dude.
Yeah.
I'm so mad at myself. I'm so upset at myself. And I was never to the point where it was, well, I don't even want to say that, because it was a problem. It really was. It for me, not to the point where I was ugly or mean or anything like that, but I wasn't myself.
Problem is on a scale. Like, it's subjective to who is thinking about it. And I don't know. It's so many things. First off, I don't know if anybody was actually watching the video of this so far, but I am like giggling when you start this because of course we're on the same page. In my notes, I'm like reflecting on all of our past episodes, and I'm like, I'm honestly not that great at non-negotiables. Like, you rock at them, and I am still working on finding that self-control in myself of being like, this needs to happen. And so this is the one thing that is my biggest non-negotiable every single day. And I'm going to be completely honest, one of the people that I really kind of related to and identified with, and this is super embarrassing, was Lala Kent on Vanderpump Rules, because she's sober. And when she ended up becoming sober, she did an interview and she was saying like that her sobriety is her number one priority every single day over her fiance and her kid, because without her sobriety, she can't be who she needs to be for them. And so that's just something that just different things kept popping up where I'm like, okay, I'm identifying with these. These are sticking out to me. These are causing me to really kind of almost feel guilty, to the point of doing that self-reflection of like, this is something that I need to look into, even though I don't necessarily want to. And again, we were justifying it. I remember one of the excuses that we came up with was that, you know, we crush it every single day. We do a great job with work. We do a great job with our families. We deserve to have that time where we can unwind. And I remember we sent a text saying we owe it to our families to be able to shut off the hamster wheel. And dadgummit, if that wasn't the worst advice that we could have given each other.
Bro, but we literally took one brain cell from you, one brain cell from me, combined them, and was like, this is a great idea.
And made a podcast. But no, it's so true. Like I literally remember these because we had talked about it. I think it was like October, September of 2023 is when we like really started kind of thinking about it. And then we're like, nah, we're not going to do that. And then the next June so July personally for me is a very hard month. It is the anniversary of my dad passing, and it just comes with a whole bag of emotions. So I decided I'm gonna take this month off of drinking. I don't think it's a good mix. I don't think it's going to help me get through this month in any sort of way, no matter how many years go by. We're gonna have an episode about grief at some point. I don't know which season that's going to be in, but it is on the list of episodes. But we'll talk about that. But I decided to do it without drinking and adding that into the mix, because that just makes everything a little bit more messy. I don't care who you are, if it just makes it worse. And by the end of the month, I realized my anxiety has actually been a lot less. I felt like I felt prouder of myself for navigating through some of those emotions. And so I just decided to continue. And here we are almost a year later. And a lot of things have kind of come up from that giving up the booze of a lot of reflection and understanding yourself a little bit more, and to kind of go back to Stephanie saying like it's a problem, and that problem is very subjective to whoever it is. It doesn't have to be an outside problem where it's impacting your relationships, it's impacting your job, it's impacting your lifestyle. It doesn't have to be that big of a problem. It can be an internal problem where you're like, I'm not happy with myself when I drink. I feel guilty with myself when I drink. Everybody else could think that you're absolutely fine, that you have no issues whatsoever, that you're just a fun person who likes to have a couple extra bevs than anyone else and not think anything else of it. But if you think that about yourself, that is also, to me, a problem. I don't think anyone else really thought anything of it aside from myself, that this is becoming an issue in my day-to-day. It's not serving me. I need to cut it. Like, honestly, TikTok, you loved TikTok and realized this is kind of becoming an issue, and it's taking away from my day-to-day instead of giving anything back to it. And that's honestly a really terrible comparison, but that's what I thought of. Like, this isn't adding anything into my day-to-day. It's getting to the point where I don't have that balance with it. I need to cut it.
Yeah. No, and I mean, and that's the thing is that, and you and I have talked about this multiple times. There are so many people in the world. I have friends, I have people in my life who can socially drink. They can go out and they can have.
I'm so jealous of them. I just talked to Em about this last night. I'm so jealous of those people.
For real. Like to just go out and just have one drink and then not drink again for weeks, or they just manage it. You know, it's just another thing.
Right.
I don't have that in me. I don't have that off switch. So I had to find another way to turn off the hamster wheel.
Yep. Yeah, I have in my notes, it's not a one solution solves all problems thing. And I think that's where a lot of people kind of have the difficulty of cutting alcohol, is they assume this is going to fix everything, and it doesn't. Like, there are pros and cons to it. Well, not cons, but there's like pros and struggles to it, I guess is the best way to say it. Is yes, it's definitely helped my anxiety. It has made me feel more present and more intentional. And like Steph said, like, there are so many things that I wouldn't have accomplished in the past almost year if I was still boozing it up as much as I was at the time. But there are a lot more emotions that I feel now that I didn't allow myself to feel then. And you have to figure out how to navigate through those without numbing. And that, I think, has been the biggest struggle. And I think ever since COVID, I get very overstimulated when out and about and at social events, and being considered the happy, energetic, bubbly personality, you feel like you have to constantly be that for people, even if you're not necessarily genuinely feeling it. And alcohol helped me with that. And now caffeine helps me with that. I have a lot of sodas now when I'm out and about with people, but I think it's just kind of, it becomes a bad habit without people really recognizing it, because it's so ingrained into society at this point.
It does. And I feel like that's a really good kind of segue to talk about my switch and what helped me make that decision was obviously my family. My family is, I've talked about it every episode, and I will talk about it until the day I die. My family is everything to me. And I saw this quote, and I actually didn't even have this in my notes, but it's just come up over and over and over again. And this one really, really hits for me because I heard it my whole life from people in my family and everything else. I would do anything for my kids. I would do anything for my kids. But would you get better for them? Would you do the hard work for them? So little Miss B is my best friend. Okay. I've literally created my built-in bestie. I don't care what anybody else out there says. Don't be friends with your kids. That's my best friend until the end of time. So that's just the way that I run my house.
Kick rocks.
Kick rocks. Okay. I always used to mix. I was a tequila drinker. So tequila, soda water, lime, that was my go-to. Okay. A beer bottle, a kid knows a beer bottle is a beer bottle. A kid knows that a beer can is a beer can. A kid doesn't know that a Tervis is alcohol. A kid sees a cup and they think water, they think milk, they think juice, they think the things that a normal kid would think when they see a cup. So Miss B is my best friend. She likes to do everything that mommy does. Okay. So that means that when I have a drink, Miss B wants a to drink. And for since the time that she could talk and started actually, drinking drinks and things like that out of cups, anytime that we were anywhere, out by the fire, out playing in the yard, at the beach, anywhere, if I had a cup and I was drinking, I would have to no, like, no, you can't have that one. Why? Well, it's because it's mommy's drink. It's mommy's drink. It's just for mommy or daddy. It's not for kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why this is stirring up so much emotion in me right now, but the first time, like, she came into my room,
I remember this.
Yeah, and she asked, like, Mommy, can I have a drink of your drink? And I don't know what it was, but it was just a switch just flipped for me, that in that moment, no, she couldn't. And then I quit. And then I decided that you had been on the journey about a month longer than I had, going through the month of July. And at the very end, I had that moment where I was like, I'm so sick of my baby girl who thinks that I hung the moon, literally, like, my biggest fan.
Yeah.
And I am like, she doesn't know that I'm letting her down. She doesn't feel let down or anything. She's just a kid. She's like, oh, okay, fine, I'll go get another drink. But by having to explain myself in that way to her, I was letting myself down.
Yeah.
And like, what type of example am I setting, kind of deal. And so about a week later, she came and asked for a sip of my drink, and ever since then, I've never had to say no. I've always been able to say, yes, kid. The only time is if I'm drinking a Celsius, and that's it.
Right.
Because I have also become a caffeine efficient.
Oh my gosh,
I already was real bad, but yeah, I mean, listen, I'm a weak one for my caffeine. I love my caffeine, so
same.
But it was just that, and literally ever since, every single time that girl comes over to get a sip of my drink, I have a half a second of a moment of just like, you go, girl. Like, you did that, and you are doing that. Yes. And like, do not stop now, because now she knows it, because but my other kids, so we've had the Michelob Ultra Zeros, and I talked about those. So I was having one of those, and one of my older sons, he like called me out, like, what are you doing? And I was like, no. So I have a whole house full of accountability partners now, and it hit me in that moment that while I may have never been a mean drunk, I've never been somebody who gets mouthy or anything. If anything, I'm going to be boo-hooing, because that's just the alcoholic that I was. I was a crier and a puker. I'm sorry. I know that's gross, trigger warning, but that's just how I was. That's how I operated. And it's just, looking back at it now, I'm just like, whew, thank God. Thank you, God, for pulling me out of that, because it was so bad. But they noticed and they knew, and it didn't even hit until that moment when all of them were about to tackle me in the living room and pull that non-alcoholic beer out of my hands. And they're so proud of me. And I didn't even know that they were even clocking me. They were clocking me the whole time.
It's also when others start to notice, and that's just another thing of like, I don't have kids to pick up on those things. Mine was, I would be surprised to hear of anybody who doesn't have someone in their family who has a problem with alcohol at this day and age. I do. And that is something that as a kid, seeing those effects, I was like, I will never. Well, here we are. And it never got to the point, at least that I know of, where people were like, this girl needs to have a come to Jesus meeting. But like, for myself, I was letting younger me down. And like, it just kept coming up time and time again. If you feel attacked by any part of this episode, or by any other things that you see on social media, or by watching Vanderpump Rules, apparently, then just have a second to think about it. What is it bringing to your life?
Right.
And all of your initial thoughts, because ours were, we can turn off. okay, but are you actually turning off or are you just prolonging? Like, think of those reasons and think, are they actually valid reasons?
Right.
And not everybody needs to give it up. I'm not trying to like attack the alcohol industry by any means. Like, I actually very much enjoy all of our non-alcoholic beverages that we have found. And I'm very thankful for all of the options that they do have nowadays, because I love to have like a fancy little drink. And by fancy little drink, I mean a glass of wine. Like, I normally put my seltzer waters in a wine glass. Like, I still do that just because it's just something that you do at the end of the day. You have something in a fancy glass while you're cooking or while you're sitting on the couch watching TV, or I don't know, but it's just, I really think that it's something that's just ingrained from the entertainment industry and even from sports. It's everywhere. And
it's everywhere.
It's ridiculous. I was listening to the How I Quit Alcohol by Danny Carr podcast that I shared with you.
Yep. Great
the
podcast,
month of July. Great podcast. Shout out to Danny Carr. You guys got me through that month of July before I was gently nudging Steph to join me. I don't like doing things alone, apparently, so I was gently nudging Steph.
Listen, if we've ever preached an accountability partner, if you're thinking about going on this journey, that's why they have sponsors in AA and things like that. I never realized as much until we went through this together. You've got to have a sounding board, period. Sorry,
yes.
Go ahead. Danny Carr.
No, you're good. She was mine for that month. Like, I literally, and I painted the whole house. I kept my hands busy. I painted the whole house and listened to this as I drank my Heineken 0.0s. And a lot of it was super relatable. And a lot of it were things that could have ended up, I don't know what would have happened, but it could have ended up where I would have been had I not given it up. Because a lot of these people that she talks to and their experiences and situations it was just an internal issue until it became an external problem. And
that's it.
So that's a very good one. I would just take a gander, give it a quick listen, see what you think. If you relate to any of it, like I said, just maybe do some self-reflection on it. I actually asked what he has noticed in his feedback for this episode since I stopped drinking, because he's only ever known me as like, I love my wine. I truly, like, it got to the point where people were recognizing, like, I haven't seen you have a glass of wine recently. Is everything okay? And that also is reflection.
Right.
If you associate me with a glass of wine, also, I'm honored by that, but it might be a sign that, like, a red flag.
Thanks for paying that much attention to me and noticing, but at the same time, let's find something else to remember me by.
Yeah, we were putting up our Christmas tree this past year, and when half of your Christmas ornaments are gifts from people relating to alcohol, I think that you might need to have a come to Jesus meeting for a second.
I thought about that, though, because I had half a thought when I was thinking about getting ready for this episode. I bought OG a shirt at Kohl's a couple of months ago that has like a little bottle of tequila, like a little Patron bottle of tequila all over it. And I have 2 shirts that says like tacos and tequila, or I'd rather be, and it's like, I have clothes associated to alcohol. Like, that's how deeply ingrained and just how normal it is in our society. Like, it's just crazy.
Yeah, it's like, I got rid of quite a few Christmas decorations that had, like, we run off of Christmas cheer and wine, and I was like, no, we don't anymore. Christmas cheer and caffeine and sugar. But no, I asked M what he thought of giving up the wine and honestly saving a lot of money each week. But
heck yeah.
He said that he's noticed I do handle frustration and stress better, so I don't get quite as overwhelmed as easily. I'm much more grounded in my emotions and my reactions to things. Thank goodness. And it's just, I don't know, it was really cool. He said that he can see, like, my thought processes are a lot clearer, and like, it's nice to see the outside perspective of, okay, I made this choice for myself, but it's impacting everything. It's literally impacting my relationships, not just with M, but with my friends and my family. And I feel like, I don't know why the anxiety would spike whenever I was out and about or like for holidays. And I wouldn't be proud of myself leaving holidays with my family, and I wouldn't I wouldn't remember every conversation that I had because I had been like, you just start drinking early on a holiday day. You just, as soon as you get there, it's like, okay, where's the wine?
Right.
I don't understand why we get so stressed and anxious about those things and why we feel the need to immediately gravitate towards that. But it's just, I don't know. I felt much more intentional. Even if I was still a little bit on autopilot just from the holiday season, I just feel much more intentional and aware. And I can remember all of the conversations that I have with people and be able to relate back to those as I talk to them in the future. And it's just strengthened a lot of my friendships that I have had for years even.
100%. And I think that the first year, at least from my experience, and I feel like you and I have shared a very similar experience when it comes to being done with alcohol and navigating just everyday life, but then also going through the holidays and things like that. You and Em went overseas. And
I have that in my notes.
Right after. OG and I have done trips. We've done the holidays. We've done birthdays and the celebrations where traditionally we be boozing. That was just it. We were breaking
those habits.
We were, yes, absolutely. And so one of the things that I like to look up just different types of research and stuff, just because I feel like there are so many different ways to quit drinking alcohol. And there's no like, okay, if you're going to quit, you're going to do this, and this, and then you'll be good to go. I mean, I've heard of people quitting cold turkey. I've heard of people needing to go to rehab. I've heard of people, just so many different types of situations and ways to navigate through it. Basically, the National Institute of Health, in terms of just alcohol and drinking. I looked it up, like, how do you handle urges or how do you handle triggers? What do they suggest? And their main points are planning ahead to stay in control. And you and I have done that multiple times. Okay, where are you going to be? Who's going to be there? What's the atmosphere going to be like? Map out your surroundings.
I went on a bachelorette trip 2 months after I decided to quit drinking. And I was like, all right, how do I prepare for this as much as possible? I stocked up. They have non-alcoholic White Claws, and I just got a bunch of these polar seltzers, just seltzer water in general. I just stocked up, let me tell you what. And honestly, I've been very surprised by people's reactions. No one is like, you don't drink? I haven't had that once. Every single person is like, okay, cool. They don't care.
1000%. If that is something, if that is the one thing that's holding you back from, if you've been thinking about it and it's the one thing that's been holding you back, I said this to Holly and she was like, write it down now, because we were talking about it. I think it may have been that batch trip, or it could have been, I think OG and I were also going on a trip around that same time.
I think it was your anniversary trip.
Yeah, it was our anniversary trip.
I'm a serial giver upper. I was like, no, you're not. You're not anymore.
And we came up with this just super quick quote. If I can be sober, I can do this sober. Like, period. If I can do the hardest thing of all, and that is getting sober and staying sober, then I can do anything sober. I can go to a social outing. I can go to a room full of people that I don't know. I can do all of those things. And it's interesting that you said at the very beginning, because I was the same exact way. I would drink knowing that I needed to be the party person. I need to be the entertainment. I need to be the life of the party. I need to be on my stuff so everybody has a good time. Girl, my personality is still the same, if not better now than it was when I was drinking, because there is just I'm fully rational. Well, okay, hang on. Maybe not.
Well, hang on.
Maybe not fully rational. I'm still a woman. Thank you.
But it's helped so much of my anxiety in social settings, because a lot of times I would leave and I would question myself. I'm like, did I say that?
What did I say?
Only because did I hurt someone's feelings because I crossed a line that I didn't see anymore? Like, it was blurred. And was it just the wine? No. Every time I leave now, I'm like, that was me. It was fully me. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to overthink about it, because let's be real, overthinkers present in-house.
Present.
But yeah, sorry, continue.
No, I mean, no, but it's just, it's the most, I think, like, false narrative surrounding sobriety and getting sober, is that you're going to suffer in some way by being sober.
Right.
When in
you
reality,
gain
it
so
is
much.
completely opposite. I have half a page of things that I have benefited from since quitting drinking, and I wrote these notes 2 months ago. I could add to it now.
She's been real excited for this episode, guys. I'm telling you.
I have been. I
wrote my notes yesterday.
A couple of others from the National Institute, and this is the flip side of what we were just talking about: avoiding tempting situations. If there's going to be a situation that you just know for a fact, I'm sorry, there are, like you said, we all have people in our life that we know. Speaking to my own experience, I have people in my life who, if I am around them for an extended period of time and there is alcohol involved, I am going to be triggered because I will need to shut off my hamster wheel. And so I avoid triggering situations. And I did that in the beginning just for my own protection, my own sanity, and staying strong and not giving up on myself. But
Proud
now, I thank you. I've gotten a little bit further along in my journey, and a no is a no. I'm not interested. I would be so mad at myself now that is enough motivation to keep pushing. Period. Like,
I honestly love going out with people now. Like, I had a friend come into town for her 30th, and first off, I've never been like a big shot person. I don't like them.
Yeah.
It's too much for me. But they wanted to do a round of shots, and I was like, me! Can I have a soda water, please? And they even did a little rim around the glass for me with just soda water. And I was like, I can do this all day. And I was just so excited to be a part of it. And didn't feel any guilt whatsoever. And I knew for a fact that I would not have a headache the next day. And man, oh man, if that doesn't just make it so much more fun to go out and do things.
It does. Knowing that you're not going to need a half a day to recover from it.
Speaking of the headache, it's not even that. Can we talk about the anxiety? Because waking up at 2 a.m. with your anxiety spiking for zero reason.
Literally.
And it got to the point where it was like I was having 2 glasses of wine and I would wake up feeling that anxiety. And I was like, this is just, I haven't had that in almost a year now. It's so nice to not.
It's amazing.
And I think most of us have anxiety at this day and age. You know, like almost every single person that I talk to is like, oh yeah, I have anxiety about this, or in some shape or form. Like, it's all different levels, but why add to it? You think that it's taking away from it, and it's not at all. Like, I can assure you, now being kind of on the other side of it, I don't think that there is truly another side of it. I think you're just always going to be
in recovery,
staying away from it. It doesn't help at all. But I do understand the thought process of, this is helping me unwind, this is helping me decompress from the day. But recognizing why you need to unwind, why you need to decompress, and finding a healthy way to do that is so much more beneficial in the long run. And I think every time that we've talked about drinking and the urges to drink, it's not necessarily like, oh, I really just want to have tequila, or I really just want to have wine. It's, I really just want to turn off the hamster wheel. That is the urge that we are looking for. It's not the drink. It is the end goal with the drink. And so if you find another way to do that in a way that is beneficial to you, healthy for you, and doesn't take away from your life, the people around you, just all of the things, I just think that that's a better outcome and solution. But again, not everybody uses alcohol for that. Some people, M has 1 beer a week just to end the week. And he's like, I don't even know if I can finish this. I'm done. And I'm like, I don't get that, but they mentioned in this podcast how I quit alcohol is like, one is too many and 100's not enough. And that also, I don't think that I was at like that level, but I identified with that. As soon as I had one, I knew that my self-control was gone, and I would talk myself into, oh, 2 is fine. They're having another one. This is okay. Oh, you know, we're still here. No one else might be drinking, but we're still here. I can have a third. And that control was gone as soon as I had one. So
without question. Without question. It's one of the hardest things, because I feel like sobriety gets such a bad rap. It feels like it should be so reversed. Like, it feels like alcohol and drinking should get the worst rap, and sobriety should be celebrated. I just saw a video 2 days ago that it was like one of those on the street interviews where the guy just walks up and he asked this girl, what's the hardest drug you've ever taken? Like, what's the strongest drug you've ever taken? And without missing a beat, she goes, sobriety. She said, sobriety is the hardest thing that I've ever done because I walk through life every day on this plane of just reality, of just like the good, the bad, the ugly, the happy, the sad, everything in between. I'm feeling all of it. And that's the way that life is meant to be lived. It's not, I would love for sunshine and rainbows 100% of the time. And through my faith, I believe that I will get to the kingdom and have the sunshine and rainbows for my entire life. But that is not life. That is not a realistic way to even try to live in any capacity. This stuff is hard. It is hard. And finding a way to cope with it is natural. It is a human level of protection. It is a protective layer that you're trying to put over your brain and your heart because it is just hard. I mean, there's just no way around that. There's always going to be something that is a reason to numb it. But it's only numb for a little while. It's just like anything else. It's just like anesthesia or anything else. It's only for a little while.
Yeah, and it makes it so much worse when it does hit. It really does. I didn't know how to identify emotions. I sound like a 5-year-old when I say that, but I truly didn't know how to I was like, I'm just feeling all of these things, and you have to like really break them down into the smallest little bits and pieces to be like, just the main ones that are in, what is that cartoon movie?
Inside Out.
Yeah, thank you. It's like
anger,
breaking it
joy.
down into just those little ones and then being like, okay, why? Like, why am I feeling each of these things? But there's a lot of figuring things out when you do get rid of it. But I think that they've done a brilliant job with their marketing and digging their way into everyday lives. I have on here that it was like, if you're stressed, go and have a glass of wine. Go have a drink. If you celebrate, you have to pop a bottle. If you are wanting to relax, you need to have a glass of something. If you have a day off and you're out by the pool, it's just natural to want to have a cooler of something. And I am so grateful for the non-alcoholic options that they have now for beers and wines. And when we went on our trip to Europe, they had non-alcoholic gins at restaurants. Like, it was everywhere over there. And I do think that it's becoming much more popular nowadays. But I'm just very thankful for those. I just think that it's controlling us more than we realize. I feel like when I realized this, I was like, wow, this has really kind of taken over my life. It's just been so eye-opening of like, wow, this is literally every single circumstance ended with, well, I should just have a glass of wine.
Yeah. Being out at an event, a concert, a game, anything. What's the first thing that everybody says? All right, when are we getting drinks? Everybody, let's go get some drinks. You walk into a restaurant, literally the first thing that you do, there's a wait. Oh, let's beeline to the bar to go get a drink. Everywhere. It's everywhere. So it is a constant battle. If this is a journey that you're thinking about going on, or something that you're thinking about eliminating from your life, just know you are going to be out here in the trenches literally day in and day out. I cannot preach that enough. And you don't have to advertise to anyone. You don't have to advertise what you're doing. You don't have to explain yourself to anyone. But when you do, and this goes back to your non-alcoholic thing, it's very interesting to see how you will be embraced by people who genuinely want to see you do good and see you succeed, and also from strangers who know nothing about you. Because OG and I did a little, we did a little weekend getaway, and we went to a hotel and we went up to the hotel bar, and OG is also somebody who can have a drink or two and just be done with it and then not drink again for a month. Shout out to our husbands for being able to do that.
What is that like?
Sorry that they married women who can't, but we love you anyway. Thanks for supporting the sobriety journey. But the bartender She spent more time with me at the bar, helping me come up with, and not helping me. She
Fun
was
drinks,
the one
yeah.
that was offering it. She's like, all right, I have this. I think that this would go great with this. All right, try this. Let me know what this is like, you know? And here I am walking up feeling like a jerk that I'm eating up a spot at her bar when she could be, you know, helping other patrons. She spent the most time with me anyway. It just totally broke like that fear that I had of being the person who asked for the virgin strawberry daiquiri or something along those lines. It's just, sure, I'm sure you'll get people out there who make you feel, oh, you're not drinking,
right.
You know. But for me, at least in my experience so far, everybody's been like, just like you said, oh, well, good for you. And then that's it. That's the end of the conversation.
A lot of people are even like, oh, I should probably like look into that, or I should probably try that. Yeah. And I'm like, well, why don't you? It's just, it's really hard to take that first step. And I'm not going to lie, like I think it was the first 3 months were the hardest. Yeah,
we took a couple of first steps before we ever even decided to actually, I mean, we both had a couple of good like week-long stretches in there, but then all it takes is one really, really bad day dealing with something really crappy happening in just everyday life. And it's easy to try to put that Band-Aid on it, but dadgummit, that Band-Aid that's not the move. That's not the move. I mean, I've got, instead of drinking, I am learning, I am exercising, I am reading, I am creating, I am cooking. Some of my favorite things about being sober are the physical energy that I have. I do not feel tired and just like bleh anymore. I've lost weight. Sorry, I'm going to say it. I mean, I lost 10 pounds in the first 3 months of, it was alcohol weight, period. Yeah. I'm not underweight by any means. If anything, I might be a little bit heavier now than I was, but that's because I am actively working on my physical fitness and things like that. The confidence that I have now, knowing that I could be in a room of 100 people and be the only person in that room that could get us all out of there safely. Like, or maybe even not even a room of 100 people. This is bad. And this is for my parents out there. How many times have you been at home and you have been intoxicated to the point that, God forbid, an emergency happened, you would not be safe to get behind the wheel of your car and get your child to somewhere safe? Me, multiple times. And it doesn't make me disgusted, and I'm not going to be mean to myself about it, because it is what it is. And that was old Stephanie, and she didn't know any better then. But now, like, that confidence is unreal. We've already mentioned money, the money aspect of it, huge. Going out would do a little weekend or something, and I don't have to feel guilty about buying that new dress or something else, because that would have been 5 tequilas that I puked up later that night along with my dinner. Ew. What? Listen, I'm going to be honest. How many times have I spent $30 on a nice steak dinner or something, gone out and woo, and then I get back to home or to the hotel, and there I am in the bathroom like a 16-year-old at a frat house, or 22 at a frat house.
I'm like not even putting these together until I see your eyes get big, and I'm like, what did she just say? Oh, Lord. Yikes.
But I'm just saying, like, you're really a grown woman with a family and a life, and this is what we're doing because you got a mommy night off. Barf. I'm sorry. I'll be mean to myself and bully myself never again.
No, it's just, I feel like I've wasted trips because I get so excited about being on a trip and you're not at home, and like you have to, of course, we're at the airport. Of course I'm going to spend $15 to $20 on a beer
at 8:45 in the morning.
Okay, for real. But airport's time is like that. I will justify. It's different. Yes. But I can wear my PJs or my sweats and but $18 on a beer, like, come on.
For real. It's a little much. Anyways, basically, coming down to it, it is just the benefits for me outweigh anything that ever came from any drink that I ever had. When we first started this, I really didn't know if it was going to be forever. I still can't 100% say that it's going to be forever, but I can tell you that I will be sober one more day. Period.
Yep. Same. And I should have said this at the beginning, but to those who don't have any sort of thoughts on quitting drinking or think that they have any issues, go ahead, skip this episode. But thanks for listening to the hour-long rants in the meantime, now that we're saying it at the very end. But all right, we got to wrap this up. Thank you guys so much for listening. We very much appreciate it. I hope you get something out of this. There is a lot that we have gotten out of it. Again, this isn't for everybody. Not everybody struggles with this. Shout out to M and OG. Proud of you guys. Don't know how you do it, but I'm jealous of it. So keep up. You guys are doing great. I hope your goals are doing well. And what are we living right now, Steph?
Being sober. Period. I'm loving being sober. I'm not gonna give it up right now. I'm not gonna give it up in the foreseeable future. This sober Stephanie is infinitely healthier, better
Here
off,
to stay.
stronger. She's here to stay. Sorry, alcoholic Stephanie. You're alcoholic Stephanie can't come to the phone right now. Why? Oh, because she's dead.
There's the Taylor reference.
Yeah,
there it is.
I did it. Okay.
Also,
sorry. What are we
stop apologizing.
Right
I'm quoting Simple Place. I think a Simple Favor. Quit apologizing. It's a cussed up female habit. Okay.
Ooh, heck yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, you say alcoholic, Stephanie, and another red flag. My nickname in college was Alcohols. Moving on from that. What are we loving right now is I am loving all of the options for gluten-free products out there on the market right now because your girl is borderline celiac and just found this out. So I've been on a big gluten-free journey, and shout out to my sister-in-law, Amanda. I love you. Thank you for all of the references and the tips and tricks for going gluten-free, and talk about accountability partner. She is one of the best. Sorry, just really wanted to do that shout out because she's been checking in so much on that. But we'll be posting all of my favorite gluten-free items because it's been a journey. We'll talk about it next time. But thank you guys so much. Reach out. Let us know what your thoughts are on this.
Heck yeah. Absolutely. We love you, listeners. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
There are millions of fonts in the world, and new ones are constantly being developed. If you happen to be one of those millions out there that speak our language and are still developing, just like we are, stick with us.
We want to thank you for spending your time with us today, and we'll talk to you on the next episode of Same Language, Different Font. Love you, listeners.